How's it going, people? Today I'm going to be talking about Dr. Sleep on Blu-ray and 4K. And if you didn't check out my movie review for Dr. Sleep when it was out in movie theaters, I actually went and reviewed it. You can check that video out right over here. And if you like that video and if you like this video, guess what? That's what this channel is all about. So make sure you subscribe right down here. And without any other further ado, let's get straight into the video quality, starting off with the Blu-ray. This Blu-ray looks great, and that is because this movie was shot all digitally. You can definitely tell this is the crispest of the crisp. And I would say that if it wasn't for Gemini Man, this would be top tier crisp level of this year. You can see just every individual line on everybody's face, and everything is just very clear and defined. Detail work is absolutely phenomenal, and I would say that as far as facial features go, and as far as just the backdrops and how the landscaping looks, when somebody is like walking in the woods and a lot of those particular scenes, I would say that there is so much detail on that ground level that I definitely did appreciate. Unfortunately, when you shoot digitally and on Blu-ray, if you don't pay a lot of attention to it, some of the black levels can look a little grayish, and this movie definitely suffers from that. And with that being said, I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10, but it was very close to a 10 out of 10. And getting into the 4K copy here, this was actually given a 4K digital intermediate because it was shot in 6.5K, and on top of that, we are given Dolby Vision support. Everything is here to give us just a awesome reference quality Blu-ray, and you know what? It doesn't disappoint. I would say that clarity is noticeably bumped up here, which isn't the case with a lot of 4K Blu-rays from the original Blu-ray. I mean, when you're talking about clarity, a lot of the times it's kind of the same with the Blu-ray. Here, it is a noticeable step up. A lot of the daytime scenes where you have a zoomed out panning of the city in Maine, I would say that they are just absolutely gorgeous and so crisp and clear. Detail here is excellent. Whether a person is standing behind a brick wall, you can see all of the layers and the textures of that brick, or whether, like I said on the Blu-ray, you're walking through the woods and you can see just all the individual leaves and the grain of the sand and the dirt on the ground. It is real crisp and clear, and facial features are just fully on display here. You can see every imperfection. When you're getting into the HDR and Dolby Vision, I would say that this doesn't have a whole lot to offer. It is a small bit more vivid and colorful than the Blu-ray, but I would say that this movie isn't really shot for that. It doesn't really open itself up for great HDR, and the parts where I noticed HDR the most is with fire scenes or with specifically black levels. I would say that they are stepped up here, and that is where it shows the most difference from the Blu-ray. With that being said, I'm actually going to give this a 10 out of 10, with the caveat that this movie is not shot for great HDR highlights. And getting into the audio quality, whether you watch this on Blu-ray or 4K, you get the same Dolby Atmos mix that is pretty damn great. And I would say that bass response here is awesome. You get that low-level, thumping, methodical bass that is truly haunting from The Shining. But hey, if you wanted that and wanted to hear that in Dolby Atmos, guess what? you have that option here because that is part of the score in this movie, and this isn't Dolby Atmos. It sounds great. And when you're talking about speaker separation, it is wonderful here, specifically during some gunfight shootout moments towards the later half of the film. And as far as surrounds go, surrounds are very heavily used, and they're prevalent throughout, whether you're talking about the score or just ambient noise. There is quite a bit of ambient noise in this movie. It definitely adds more to the immersion here. And height speaker work actually gets more than what I thought. Specifically in that shootout scene towards the later half of the film, you can hear echoes and a lot of ambiance throughout. And a lot of the time when you hear people go into somebody else's thoughts and somebody is thinking in this film, that's a big part here, and that always comes through in the overheads. It definitely adds something. It reminds me of American Psycho's Dolby Atmos track, and I definitely love that one, and I love this here. I'm going to say that I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10, and it's just really great in that way. And as far as the digital copy here goes, this is a digital copy where you can go to the Warner Brothers site that they have given you on the slip, and you can redeem the 4K version on iTunes and on Vudu. And getting into special features here, I do have to mention something in the fact that this release includes the director's cut, which is actually about half an hour longer. It runs about 3 hours long, where the movie itself theatrically runs about 2.5. Well, that unrated version is not available in 4K. That is only available on the added Blu-ray that they have given you here. You still get the Dolby Atmos like I talked about, but you just don't get the 4K crispiness. And with that disappointment, you also get only 3 featurettes that marginally go into the making of the film and why they chose to go with this particular storyline. I would say that I'm going to give this a 4 out of 10. This could have been a lot more, and I wanted it to be. And getting into my last looks at Dr. Sleep. I mean, look, I realized the problems with this movie. It doesn't really give a whole lot for Danny Torrance to do, and that is because of the fact that they want to introduce this new female child character into the mix, and they give her a lot to do in this movie. But with that being said, I would say that this is still a very enjoyable film that changes just enough from the novel to make it stand on its own, and excises a lot of the more ludicrous elements from that novel. And this is still a very enjoyable story to watch. And I would say that an intriguing part about it is it goes a lot more into just what the shine actually is. And that is something that's important for this story. And if you didn't watch my video review for Dr. Sleep, I actually gave it an 8 out of 10. And when you add up all my scores for Dr. Sleep on Blu-ray, you get a 30 out of 40 and a 31 out of 40 for the 4K version. I feel like the 4K version just adds a little bit more crispiness and bang for your buck. You will get a more nuanced video transfer there. So that is why that is a little higher score. And coming up next on the channel, I do have 2 releases coming up next week. That is Ford versus Ferrari, and I'm going to be going into Shutter Island. I will be picking that up in 4K, and I cannot wait for that one. And so if you guys are excited about all that, comment down below. Let me know about other things that you guys would want me to review. And if you saw Dr. Sleep already, and if you saw the digital copy already, let me know what you thought about it down below. And as always, thank you for watching my videos. You guys are awesome. I don't need to say it because you know it. And I will see all of you next time.